Hello, welcome back to the League of Extraordinary Atheists for Humanism, where we attempt to apply logic and reason to religion and politics. And I got to tell everyone right now, before I tell you that Christy's here, the only thing I don't like about starting the show is not hearing Notch's voice anymore. I miss it. So that said, hello, Christy Santiago, my wonderful co-host.
Hello, I love him and miss him too. Immediately.
It's been 10 seconds and
I know.
Devastated. All right, so happy Friday, everyone. If it's still Friday, sorry, Nacha.
He says he lives in the future, which makes me think probably it doesn't exist.
Basically, he doesn't. I mean, most of us have never seen his face. Just saying.
Some people have Yahweh, we have Nacha.
Yeah, that's right. Except, I don't know, Nacha's nicer.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No genocides that I know of.
That we know of.
That we know of.
But if I heard of any, I'd probably be an apologist for him.
Right.
But this is not what the show's about.
This is what debates renders us.
Yeah.
Noodle brains.
Noodle brains. All right, so before we jump into Dem Damn Debates, I want to go over a few news topics that happened this week, because there's, and I say it every week, there's so much that happened this week, because so much happens. I mean, there's like, what is there? 4.5 billion people on Earth, or is it well past that now? I can't keep track. So a lot of things happen. A lot of things have the potential to happen, and I don't keep up on a lot of it. But so you know, things that did happen this week that I did keep up on include there's an announcement by the World Meteorological Organization.
Yeah.
They said that July was the warmest month ever recorded in human history.
In the history of ever.
Yep.
Everdom.
So that is something. And this follows the warmest June ever recorded in human history.
In Everdom.
Yes.
Yes.
Everdom. So
we're going to be Everdom if we don't acknowledge that it's happening, is where I'm going with that. Yes.
Our brains are going to fry, and the melting glaciers are not going to help cool our brains. So that being said, I have a little more information for you. I'm just going to kind of zing past these two first topics.
Zing away, my love. Zing away.
Zing! Sorry. I'm feeling extra goofy tonight. I didn't take my nap. So I'm more awake, I'm extra goofy.
I didn't take my nap as much better than I didn't take my meds.
Okay. Luckily, I don't have those, or I lost them.
Very fortunate, yes.
Yeah. So, with this hottest June and hottest July ever recorded, or hottest month ever recorded, this is a little trend that we're having right now. So, the hottest years ever recorded, so you all know, in this order, are 2016, 2015, 2017, then 18, and 19 is in the running to be one of the hottest. So if that doesn't kind of nudge the idea of maybe global warming isn't a Chinese hoax, I don't know what will. But there's a little more to this. If you don't know, a few years back we were talking about, we don't want the atmospheric carbon dioxide levels to get to 400 parts per million. That would be a really bad turning point and a place that we can't really start, like, step back from. That'd be like our new baseline, and it's not good. We start getting weather like this. So, like, things get hotter all the time. And we get sweatier, and so do the glaciers. Again, I like glaciers. But we are at 415 parts per million. So we are well over the threshold that we set for ourselves. And like before that, we, I think back in the 90s, maybe 80s, we said we don't get past 200 parts per million. We blew past that. So this is a right-wing talking point where, well, you guys keep setting these whatever, and nothing's changing. The world hasn't ended. I was like, well, it's not that the world's going to end like in 12 years.
Right.
But if I live in Ohio, so I hear a lot about how the corn's growing, if you know what I mean. And crops aren't really growing as well this year. People are worried. And I hear that about more places in the U.S. And that's not good. If our plants can't survive outside, well, we aren't going to survive inside super duper long, right? So this is something we really need to pay attention to. And I know I'm talking to an audience who usually agrees with us. But if you ever share this with your friends, I try to make it palatable enough for you to share to someone who doesn't quite get the danger yet.
Right.
Another point that I want to bring up here is that our government spends $372 billion a year on subsidies on fossil fuels. That's including coal, that's including oil, including gas. And I heard the point made on Democracy Now! Actually, if even just 10% of those subsidies, so that would be less than 30 billion, which is not a lot in our congressional budget or whatever, that would reduce the carbon emissions by 20%. If we invest 10% of that, I don't know if I said to what, on solar or wind power, or other alternative energy sources, it would, again, drop our carbon emissions by 20%. And that's an incredible number. We need more than that, honestly. But hell, that's a start.
Right. And that's not something that was just found out this week. That is a possibility. That's
we've known.
Something we've known, and many other countries are implementing. It's just a matter of, in this country, if we could, there's such a like a profit motive. If we could somehow put a huge profit on doing the right thing, America would be number one, literally, like across the board, because there would be a profit motive. There's no profit in doing the right thing, probably for a while. For many companies, it's going to go into it, and they're going to put a lot into it to change things. But because that will be the new economy and the way that it will be, there will be income, there will be profits. It's just, I don't know. You guys know. It's frustrating. You know, it's, the facts are out, the data's in, people just don't care.
And I want to fight you a little bit on that profit motive, because I do have a nice example, and I'm not actually going to fight you. I can't. I would wrestle you, but that'd mostly be for fun. But, so there is a profit motive, right? The Green New Deal and anything like it that makes an initiative to get a new green infrastructure. It creates jobs. That's a profit motive, I think, right? I have a few friends who do construction. I actually worked with them for a while, and they kind of did the construction, like housing construction stuff that they were doing, because they got so many jobs setting up solar panels, and they really enjoyed doing it. And now they go to other nearby states all the time now. I just talked to my friend the other day, and he's going everywhere, and he's really busy, and it's really a booming business, just setting up just solar panels. Obviously, we see more of those turbines going up everywhere. But it does create jobs, and jobs give people money, and profit to be made. So, so not that I'm obviously arguing with Christy, but I like to try to give people talking points. It's just like, well, if you don't think there's anything there, like profit motive.
I think that where people miss out on that, what you're talking about is there are benefits for the people by going green. What I'm talking about is the tippy top see no immediate benefit of doing anything but what they've been doing. And so it's a matter of all of us using our collective voice to say, cut it out.
Right.
I'm so corny.
Yeah, and I mean, I know what you mean. You obviously have a very solid point, because the people at the tippy top are the establishment. They're like they are at the tippy top because they have the foundation, which is the establishment of how we do things already, and everything's run by fossil fuels. What there is a profit motive for new up and coming investors and people who want to get to the new tippy top, right? If you can fight your way to the top, fight against skyscrapers as one man, or guys, burgers or fries or something like that. So I'm sorry, watching people laugh at me is spectacular. So that's my first bit for the night. Do you mind if I move on, or do you have anything else? Okay.
Go for it.
Okay. Actually, I'm not quite done with this. I have a second question. I'm sorry. I lied. I looked down like, oh wait, this is still kind of connected. So connected to climate change, pretty obviously, is this heat wave that we've, not that we've experienced, because I have been experiencing a heat wave, not a hot flash, a heat wave. But over in Europe, and I think it was more than just Europe. I didn't keep that close an eye on this heat dome, they're calling it. Well, it moved in the opposite direction that they planned, and it went towards to Greenland. If you haven't heard, and why that's awful is because, well, let me tell you like this: when the Vikings found Greenland and Iceland, they named them the opposite of what you think they'd be, so they could just have the wonderful Iceland to themselves, and everyone went to the shitty Greenland, which is fucking cold and just has a bunch of icebergs. Now, we want it to stay cold, though, because if we let these icebergs melt, two things happen. One, well, this ice, I don't think it's 100% just H2O kind of ice, right? So we have other gases that can be emitted, which are usually greenhouse gases, which make things even warmer, which makes more ice melt. Okay, so you get that, right?
It's like a circle.
It's
like a circle.
It's a circle. The other thing about this is that, well, there is water, and we like water. We need water. I want water. I want more water, honestly, but I don't want 11 billion tons more water to go in the ocean right now. That is, what do they say, more than 40 million Olympic swimming pools full of water. That's how much ice just was lost on Wednesday alone from this heat dome going through Greenland.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I don't have a whole hell of a lot more to tell you about this. I didn't really do a deep dive, but I did get the headline in the first few paragraphs and like reading it through, and just like, well, the main point here is a lot of water, and what this is going to do, if I haven't made it clear, as glass, not ice but glass, is, well, Greenland was already experiencing higher temperatures than normal, and they have ice melt every year. That's a normal thing. right? It gets hot, ice melts. Yes, of course. You can be like, yes, you're right, of course. But we just had the hottest month ever recorded. And a heat wave over top of that. And Greenland was not expecting, doesn't matter if it was expecting or not, we couldn't take much more melt. We lost 11 billion tons, not gallons, tons of ice into the ocean 2 days ago, Wednesday. And that wasn't the only day that they were experiencing heat. So that's really devastating. And we will see effects from that, because now that we've lost it, it doesn't go back. It's just in the ocean now. That's just what we have. So that's really unfortunate. And check sea levels. Like, I'm sure, like, that data is recorded. Watch it go up. You can see it. So that was something that really perked up my ears. It was like boiling. But yeah, so that's that. Now I'm done with that topic. Do you have anything to add to Greenland? Anything I missed?
No, I read and watched both of those, and I read the report that particular group of scientists who went to Greenland wrote up, and I'm not a scientist at all. And I could read the report and know that I mean, it's going to have to, unfortunately, show up on people's front porches for them to give a shit about it. And not people that they know, their front porches. And it's unfortunate.
Yeah. Yep. It's very unfortunate. And what I was thinking as you were saying that was, and it can't be like the doorsteps of like minorities or anything. So just be ignored. So like, it's gonna have to make it to like the doorsteps of white people. Like, really ring a bell. Anyways, all right. My last
Anywho
is the teeter-totter, the seesaw.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I would really like to get a picture here real quick. So I'm gonna do that.
I love the message of it. You know, what happens here has an equal but opposite reaction over. I mean, we're connected. Part of Mexico, part of the U.S. used to be Mexico, and vice versa. It's we're all connected in the Americas. I think that we're all Americans, and we need to start acting like it.
Yeah, we need to, but we don't get that. Anyways, so I'm gonna share screen real quick, and then I'm gonna try to unshare screen real quick. Last time it took me like 30 seconds to figure out how to stop. So guys, I'm going here. Hopefully, you guys can see me. Just looking right here at this photo. There's another photo. Not the Jim Beam, not that one. This one right here.
Yes.
There we go. So those.
And they're good ones. I want to get on those. I mean, they go high. Adults can have fun on those.
It's true.
Okay, I would have fun on those.
I want to do it.
Right.
So, but this was titled "There Are No Longer Seesaws at the Border." So I'm not sure if they took them down or not. It looks like they did, but I haven't got to read through the whole thing. But I am going to read the quotations here for you guys after I stop share. Haha! Figured it out.
Yay! Mac.
Look at me.
Look at you. Gold star.
Thanks. I love gold stars. All right. So if you guys didn't see, there were quotations above it, and there's a lot of quotations through it. It's like a 5-minute article, but I wanted to read this one specifically because it's basically what is this seesaw for? Why did these artists put up this seesaw. And since we are a humanist group, I thought this story was incredibly fitting for our show. In the article, it said that the seesaw demonstrates how those immediate relationships between people can create an environment where happiness and play are also important aspects of life on the border, and that our relationships with our neighbors can extend past political relationships, but also humanistic relationships. The creators told me, the person writing the article. This is incredibly important at a time when relationships between people on both sides are being severed by the wall, and the politics of the wall. The wall and the unfortunate politics of the wall not only separate countries, regions, cities, neighborhoods, families, and more recently, the separation of children from their parents.
Yep.
So, yeah. So it's there to create unity and remind everyone that it doesn't matter which side of the fence you're on, like physically or metaphorically, we're all human beings, right? That's what we want to see. That's what I feel like that's part of the progressive message.
Yes.
Also like the humanistic message, and it's just a good message.
Yes.
Well, I wanted to share that. I also wanted to share this one little nugget. Here you go. Hold on to your seat, Christy. Don't get too angry. Stunts like this do nothing but try to paint a narrative that frankly is false and try to get public sentiment on their side. They don't work in the real world, and don't know how the real world works. Frankly, they shouldn't be doing this. This was said by the National Border Patrol Council and Border Patrol agent Brandon Judd. So this guy he's a Border Patrol agent. He's just like, they shouldn't be doing this.
That statement to me just further cements my already acknowledgement of them dehumanizing these people.
Yeah.
Because you can't be mean to fellow humans. You can't treat fellow humans. They wouldn't want their own children treated this way. Their sisters, their brothers, their mothers, they would never go for that at all. So if you dehumanize them, I mean, you can't have two kids playing. That means they're equal.
Yeah, I agree. And also sorry about my audio, everyone. I'll try to speak up. I'm not sure if Nacho fixed my audio or not. RB said thanks though. If he did. If not, fuck you, Nacho. Fuck you, Nacho. Anyways, Christy.
Yes.
I pretty much plan on you because you said you were just gonna like deep dive into this debate. So I basically want to hand it over to you right after I get this last angrily sentence paragraph out.
Okay.
The thing that frustrated me about the debates more than anything else is that I couldn't fucking watch them.
Yes, same.
I couldn't watch them.
Same.
I'm not sure if anyone else besides Christy and I, because we messaged back and forth about it. I had time set aside for this. I let my wife know that I'm like, hey, I want to watch these live.
Right.
Focus on them. And that's, I usually don't make a lot more time from my at-home time. Besides everything I'm doing like at work and listening and researching outside. Right. I was planning on sitting down, watching the debate, taking notes, and I couldn't. Because it was only for cable news. People who were watching it through like a watch party on YouTube, they were told to shut them down during the debates.
Yep.
It's pretty fucking bullshitty. And they didn't do that when MSNBC was hosting it, but when CNN did. Another content creator said it really well. If you think that, the cable news networks are like on your side or for the people and what the fuck ever. Well, they are just like the rest of the establishment. They're there for profit, right? They want you to watch it on cable.
Ratings and profit, yes.
Yeah. So it was incredibly frustrating. I haven't seen the whole debates yet. I don't know how. I haven't found a link, so I've just had to watch reviews, and that sucks.
Well,
I like to watch.
The link I sent you for night 1 has already been taken down.
Yeah, it was taken down before I could watch it.
Great. And so today, all day, I could not find night 1 anywhere. Good thing I watched it the next day by myself, and then when Stacy got home, her and I watched it, so I saw it twice.
Gotcha.
This night 2, I watched, and then when Stacy got home, I watched it again. But because that was just last night, I wanted to do night 1 again today, so I would have more, them in my head, and I couldn't find it anywhere. And I'm not the only one who is complaining about this. You are not the only one that is complaining about this. And I have to say that I know so many people that don't have cable. They don't have cable. I have Prime Box and Hulu. I'm not technically inclined. I have thingamajiggers that I have a remote that's on my phone, and I watch them on the TV. But I use YouTube for everything. And if I can't find it there, I'll Google it, and it normally will take me to YouTube. Our TV has Firefox. It normally takes me to YouTube. I couldn't find it anywhere. It was so frustrating. I even sat through this one that was, I didn't sit through all 5 hours of it. I'm not crazy, but it was 5 hours, and I put it on fast, and would just stop it. And after about 20 minutes into it, I was about 3 hours into it. I just said, I don't think that it's in here. Let me just skip forward. And I'm skipping, and there's no debate. What the hell is this? It was the pre and post game, but not the debate. Oh, it's so frustrating.
That's what I watched as well. And that's when I messaged you. I was still listening to it. I've been listening to it for about 45 minutes. I'm like, are they just late?
Right.
I start seeing updates like they ended their opening statements at 8:25. I'm like, what's going on?
Day 2 or night 2 is still available. I hope nobody's taken it down since before. But an hour before we went live, I still had it up. It's the only one I was able to watch. It's ridiculous. These are. Do you want a democracy or not? Like, it just blows my mind. Obviously, the answer is in my face. I don't want to acknowledge that they have acknowledged that they don't want one.
Right.
That's my problem.
I would love for this to happen if Fox News was hosting it, because then it would kind of fit what CNN and MSNBC would say, might say is their narrative, right? But it's CNN doing it. There's some real hypocrisy going on. And as Christy said, like, we're not the only ones complaining about it. But I am kind of surprised that I haven't heard how Kalinske or Mike Figueredo, I think I said that close to right, neither of them said anything about it. And I was so surprised that, like, that wasn't the first thing out of their mouths, because, like, 3 days ago before I came on, I'm like, I knew this was going to be the first thing I was going to bring up, is how pissed I am that I couldn't watch it. It's so disheartening, and so many people are just going to have their opinions spoon-fed to them by whatever cable news that they have to watch.
Watching the debates, even being able to finally see them, they're given 30 seconds and 15 seconds to answer. And if they go over, they lose seconds for their next one. And so it's just, I understand debates are timed. Come on, I'm an atheist. I watch debates all the time. However, I also understand there are a lot of people up there. Well, you guys chose to have a lot of people up there. You own the channel. You could have done it however you want. And I understand having to limit their time, but 15 seconds for a leader of the world, for the people to make, it was so controlled. The questions made me want to smack my head on a wall. They're so dumb. They had nothing to do with things that we cared about. Not all of them. We are lucky that we have some of the candidates who would get a stupid question and would say, okay, but I want to go back to the, like, I'm not even answering that. That has nothing to do with anything. It was definitely disappointing. The whole thing, not being able to find it, when I did find it, having it taken down, trying to share it so people that I know hadn't seen it and they also can't see it now. It was too much.
Yeah.
I cannot think of a reason that a corporate news channel would lock down access to a democratic debate. Or can I? That's what it's come to. Why would they do that? There's only one reason I can think of. They want to control the narrative.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's one. They want to get more control over the narrative, but also two, more and more people are moving away from cable. Like, I remember 5 years ago when I said, like, I don't have cable, you know what, and I don't need it. More people looked at me like, all right. Now, over like the last year, maybe 2 years, people are like, I know, yeah, I need to drop it, or I have dropped it. Yeah, I don't have cable. Why would I need cable?
Right.
It's becoming the new norm, just to have internet.
What was it, like a week or two ago? I had messaged you, or you had asked me if I had seen something, The Hill, and I said yeah, but not on purpose, because I type in what I want to watch.
Yeah.
And then the algorithms on YouTube now are sending me CNN, MSNBC, CNN. I'm like, and I don't have it on me. It's like sitting over here and I'm listening to it while I'm doing stuff. So when I hear things that I know, I'm like, this is dumb. And it's, 3 videos in of little tiny blocks of CNN. I'm not even subscribed to MSNBC or CNN, and I keep getting theirs. The same as Fox. I keep getting all 3 of them, and I didn't get that. I can't say that. Even 3 or 4 weeks ago, I wasn't getting them like this. Definitely not 6 months ago. It would be the same, thing that I'm subscribed to or like. It would suggest new ones if I would let it go on long enough.
Yeah, it would. And so it's all the more important to your favorite channels, including this one. You should definitely subscribe, and you should hit the bell. Always hit the bell, because they are pushing a lot of more mainstream media news on people's up next lists. And but I'm still getting things from the Young Turks and Kim Iverson and Kyle Kalinske and all of them. Like,
yes.
Still getting it, but I think if I don't have the bell. Yeah, and the Humanist Report. Yep.
Just love him. He's so stinking cute.
So it's just hit that bell. And I'm sorry I pulled this away for like 10 minutes. I'm pissed off. Can you please just take it away? Tell us the highlights. Tell us whatever you want to do, and I'm just going to follow along.
Take it away now. Take it away. Take it away. Take it away now. Unsilly. Okay. No, the debates really make me mad in a serious way, because I feel this little with the amount of undemocratic things that are happening. And so I guess being stressed about things that are completely out of my control makes me silly. I don't know.
Yeah. Marijuana
makes me silly. One or the other.
Who makes you silly?
A girl? Mary Jane?
Mary Jane?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know her.
Yeah.
I've only met her a couple times. She's
sweet lady. A real healer.
Yeah.
All right. Done being silly. Okay, so on night one, I have to say, in my mind, I was telling myself, if it could go the way that I really, really want, I would want Bernie and Warren to kind of back each other up. And they did. It was the best. It really was so good. I love, even it past the debates, within the last 24 hours, Dick Cheney's daughter, whatever her name is, Cheney something. Her last name's Cheney, and she should never be in charge of foreign policy. And I know that you're not in trouble for your father's sins, and I'm not saying that, but we know what her father, Dick Cheney, did to this country, and what a war hawk he was, and how she was agreeing with all of it. So no, we don't want to hear what you have to say about foreign policy. And because Warren said she didn't want to strike first with the nuclear, she didn't want to be a first strike, which I think if the scariest, most militarized country says that they want to be a first striker and they have nuclear weapons, that's going to make all other countries anxious and want to protect themselves with nuclear weapons. Why would we do that? We already have them. There's no reason to be like, mine's bigger. Everyone knows. So Cheney's daughter says, that Warren would make us unsafe and that she needs to be I blocked it from my memory. It was so dumb. All I know that I didn't block from my memory is Bernie Sanders came and, says the world knows what Cheney has done when it comes to wars. We don't want any foreign policy from a Cheney. Thank you, but no thanks. I was like, go Bernie. That's wonderful. He's been put into corners to try to go after her, and he does not take the bait ever. He says, it's not up to me. I'm here to put my case forward. She's going to put her case forward. And the way that they keep running, I would be so super okay with a Bernie Warren presidency. I just would. I just really would. Yes.
You said a Bernie Warren?
Oh, yes, Bernie Warren. What did I say?
I think it was Bernie Warren.
Yeah,
sorry, I'm reading and listening. It's my bad. I should do that.
You're so talented.
I can't. Obviously not.
So talented. I do have to say, Marianne Williamson is kookalicious as she is. She just is such a good person. I just want to hug her. She's doing all of this for the right reasons. She really is. She made some really good points, and the logical part of me is like, don't even. But she's so sweet, and I don't think it's. I think it's genuine. I do. I've been known to be wrong, but I just don't feel like I feel like she's genuinely doing this for the right reasons. I also know she has no chance in hell of being the president. No, but no, absolutely not. No, and Trump would eat her alive. She's too nice. Yeah. I mean, she is the exact opposite of what he is when it comes to manners and how to treat people and empathy and love and unconditional love and doing the right thing and making the right choices even when they're hard. Yeah, the opposite. But she also
just like become Trump's vice president. You're like, you know what? I think you're right. Oh, my time's up.
Yeah. Yeah, but she surprised me big time. Stacey and I watching it with our jaw. You're like, oh my God, what did she just say?
From what I've heard, like, they both did really well. Like,
yes,
like they both stole the night. And
yes,
that's what I heard.
Warren was a beast, and Bernie was right there with her. If both of them together, if someone said something against her, he would be like, no. It was great.
I got this.
She's a human, and she's got human rights.
You're a dick. No penises on the stage. No one penises on my stage.
And then I thought, our country has never had a Jewish president.
Nope.
Yeah,
that'd be nice. Be nice first.
Why not? Yeah, why not? Okay. So I want to talk about a couple of people that really blew my nut. Amy Klobuchar has some good points. She has no chance in hell of winning. I am glad that she's up there. I do think that her voice and her ideas help make specific groups of people who lean progressive in the Midwest see more progressive policies. I don't know how to say that any better.
You said Amy?
Yeah, Amy Klobuchar.
Yeah,
I do.
I've seen almost nothing on her, so.
Yeah, she's made it this far, but she didn't steal the stage. Same with Steve Bullock. Wah wah, not gonna happen. John Delaney.
Yeah, because I try to look at it again as someone looking from the outside, and like he's rambunctious. When with those progressives, he's such a fucking idiot. And
yeah.
I wish I could just more easily pop up photos, because I would have had this one ready. I thought about it. How often did you see his dumbass smile? When he's like getting told off, he's like,
yes. Okay, so with him, I can only imagine the Saturday Night Live skits. That cannot be our next president. Okay, and then Higginlooper. Why? You're not helping anything. I don't think that he's a bad person.
From what I'm hearing, he's gonna drop out soon.
Yeah.
He's low in the polls, and he's.
I think that his voice is needed. Like 15 years ago.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm glad these people were at the debate. Like, I'm glad that there's different kinds of Democrats at the debate.
Yes.
That's that because we do want a debate. We want someone to like ask questions and like give us something to argue about, and like to push Bernie to be angry old man Bernie, because that's how he best performs. Right. But we have so many Democrats, and so many of them are the same, right? Mm-hmm. There's like 5 different types of candidates out of the 25 candidates.
Mm-hmm.
There's the Bernie Warren type. There's the establishment type. There's the Yang type.
Yeah.
One on his own.
We also have one anti-war type.
Right. I was gonna say there's the Tulsi type, and then I don't know what the other one would be. Extra establishment, and I guess there's a 6th one because
those are the Republicans that are pro gay marriage and pro women's rights.
Yeah, exactly. But then there's also that Marianne Williamson type, because
that's her own.
Yeah, she's her own thing. And I'm not just saying that because she's just quirky.
No, her voice is so needed. Okay, this is the way I want to look at it, and maybe I think that it would be a good idea for others too. I might not like every single one of these long lists of candidates that we have this year. However, each one of these people have made it this far because their ideas, if they're genuine and putting their genuine ideas out there are a significant amount of my fellow Americans who feel that same way, or enough of the same way, and share enough of the same ideas that they would choose to put their money and support behind someone to go represent them. So I respect the hell out of that. That takes guts. That's hard. And you're representing to the best of your ability where you come from, where you're trying. Some people move around and represent. That's fine too. It's still the same country. But you want to do the best for the people that you represent. So I really do respect the hell out of that. And I do look at it as if, Tim Ryan and Amy Klobuchar John Delaney, even, they all have a significant amount of my fellow Americans who look up to that person and put him forth or her forth as their nominee. So all your voices need to be heard, and we all need to understand that they're not up there in a vacuum by themselves. Their ideas are supported enough to have made it this far. So I can't, in good faith, just say, John Delaney, he doesn't matter. He's not going to win, and he didn't have the best ideas, but he still represents thousands and thousands and thousands of my fellow Americans.
Yeah.
So those ideas that he brought with him need to at least be weighed out, and heard. So I love that's what debates are. You're getting heard. And I wish that there were more. I am glad that we have social media now, so that after the debates, any one of those candidates, I could then, which I already have, but I'm talking for other people who maybe hadn't looked into any of them, could go look them up and watch tons of content on that person. Of course, you're getting it rose colored, what they want you to see. So then you have to do your opposition research. And that takes a lot, but it's a lot easier today with, a computer in all of our hands. I want to say that my favorite on night one, of course, where Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders can do no wrong. He didn't do the best debate, but he's Bernie. he's about the policies. Tim Ryan and Hickenlooper and Klobuchar and all of them that were on there. I was proud that none of them made me go, good God, except for maybe Delaney.
Yeah, Delaney's his own fucking.
And Williamson, Marianne Williamson, she blew me away. Like I said, I will not be voting for her, but I think that there are so many thousands of Americans who listen to her, myself included, and think yes, let's do it for the right reasons. Let's do no harm. Let's take an honest, hard look at our faults of what we're doing wrong. I love where she's coming from with that. In order for us to heal as a nation, like she says, a nation is just a group of people that live together. A group of people, a very, very large country like ours has tons of different people, but we are still just people and a group of people that have a past that had nothing to do with the actions we've taken. But if we don't acknowledge them and move past them and make amends for them, I just think I love that. So she blew my mind that night too.
She put it really eloquently. Like, she put it maybe better than anyone I've ever heard, like, lay it out before. Like, talking about the reparations. Like, she said it's, because she was asked in the way of, what makes you, what gives you the authority to say what reparations should be, like, what gives you the right to even fucking talk about it? And she basically just dodges the shit that was thrown and answers the gist of the question, which is, look, this is a debt that is owed.
I love that. It is. She
just went into why. And it was really good. It was because last time she was pretty silly.
Yeah. I will come after you with love, gosh darn it.
Yeah. And like, I've seen her positions, and for the most part, I like them politically. Yeah. I do have issues, and I think we should go into it sometime. You and I should probably deep dive on her spiritual stuff.
Yeah, okay.
I think some of it is quite dangerous, right?
I agree.
So we should probably just do a full episode on her, because that's probably important. I feel like she's probably one of those who fits exactly in our demographic. Because policy-wise, she's very close to fantastic.
Yep.
Spiritually wise, is half not harmful, half that's pretty harmful. So, hey, what you're doing, God damn it, please. So
but she also follows it with something that makes me be like, what? With education is the most important thing, and the best education is, I mean, we want to be known for having the smartest, healthiest. I'm like, yes. So
yes, yeah, she's a wild card for sure. She
yeah.
this is something that you see with religious people a lot, right? They're not quite logically consistent. You're a good example of this, Christy.
I'm sure.
because you always said that you were a humanist, right? You had your politics and your fact checking in line. You would just let it go when it came to religion. And I feel like she's probably a lot like you were.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. She's
So
brilliant. She just doesn't and it depends on how you live and who you grow up with and what's been encouraged. I mean, we know this. We know all this stuff. And by no means whatsoever do I think that if someone is a theist or even a magical thinker like her means that you are a bad thing or a bad that's nothing to do with it at all. It doesn't mean that you're right on those things, but those things, if those magical thinking, whoever has them, whatever they are, if they don't come into your decisions when it comes to making logical decisions for a community of people per se, then I don't have a problem with any politician having magical thinking as long as they're their own private, I would prefer not. Of course, I would want everyone to question every single thing, including their beliefs. Hardcore, Socratic method themselves. I mean, I think you should.
The Socratic method is, and then use it. And go.
Yes. Okay, night 2.
Yeah. Real quick, was Buttigieg on the stage with them? I think.
Yes. Night 1. Yes.
Yeah. Again, I've only seen reviews. I didn't get to see.
Yeah, night 1 was Steve Bullock, Pete Buttigieg, Buttigieg, John Delaney, John Hickenlooper, Amy Klobuchar, Beto O'Rourke, Tim Ryan, Marianne Williamson, Bernie Sanders, and Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah. Okay. The one thing that was pointed out, and I'm sure you saw it pointed out too, was Pete Buttigieg. He had said something, kind of, and I don't remember what it was. I was kind of hoping you'd remember what I was going for. He said,
was it about God?
No, it was. He was kind of backing up Warren and Bernie at one point. Was just, it was about run on what you believe, basically, because no matter what, the Republicans are going to call you.
Yes.
They're going to call you bad people, and they're going to call you socialists, no matter what you are. So it makes sense, run as what you are. Speaking to Warren and Bernie, if you're farther left, can be farther left, and that was really nice.
Be genuine, because if you're worried about what the conservative Tea Party group of the Conservative Party are going to think about you, it's pointless, because if you are right down the middle, like some people, like Hillary Clinton was right down the middle, so per se they'd still call her a socialist, which we all know she's just a more liberal conservative. I agree with that. I love that he said that. And that him being so young, I also love that he's a part of this. I am not of the group of people that think there are too many people running, this is bad. I think it's wonderful. The more voices to the left, the more the whole country gets to hear left ideas that include them, inclusive ideas that think, if you take away the ideology and you just say, this is my proposal, and it's childcare or healthcare, most families like it. So you have to take the ideology away.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's just one thing I wanted to interject real quick, because I thought that was important, that he got something in that we both agreed with.
Yes. I gave him a round.
Yeah. So that was good. All right, go ahead and go on to night 2. I'll stop.
Night 2, Cory Booker, Julian Castro, Kirsten Gillibrand, Michael Bennett, Andrew Yang, Bill de Blasio, Tulsi Gabbard, Jay Inslee, Joe Biden, and Kamala Harris. I want to call it the Joe Biden and Kamala Harris show.
Yeah, that's what I heard. It was just mostly that. Can you tell us real quick who just completely didn't matter? So we can mention them. We can give, really give them.
Kirsten Gillibrand stood out so much. She was just a little fire rocket. Yeah.
I wish I'd seen that.
But and very policy. There were a few times where I was like, okay, no more platitudes. But I think that they'll let them know with lights. So you're constantly thinking 15 seconds, 10 seconds, 9 seconds, 8 seconds, while you're talking, and it messes, I'm sure. It would mess me up. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they do it. Tulsi Gabbard. Yeah.
I was talking about.
She was the most Googled candidate.
For the second time.
Yep.
Second time. 2 out of 2 debates, most Googled candidate.
Yes.
That's my girl.
Yes. Yes. But immediately after.
And jury.
Immediately after they started to drag her name through the mud, she's an Assad apologist. Go on to my personal Facebook. I post something about her, and immediately, within 2 minutes, someone is posting she is a bigoted, homophobic Assad apologist. I'm just like, I just leave it there because I'll just let you look like an idiot. It's just awful because I'm gay. I don't want to follow someone who's homophobic. What is wrong with you? Right. And I'm not saying that wouldn't happen or couldn't happen. I'm just saying it's not going to happen. I'm not going to be supporting someone who doesn't have my family's best interest. I mean, that would be dumb. I'm so anti-war. And I find that she is a breath of fresh air. The corporate media has already put out that beware for Russian bots supporting Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah. Now, which media is smearing her? Because I know that there's some backing her up and some that are not. And I would imagine Fox is backing her up because
I haven't seen anything.
Tucker Carlson loves her. It looked like Chris Cuomo was a little bit shitty, like baseline shitty, but for the most part was supportive of her. Like he was trying to get her to talk about that topic again, but he was trying to like do it in a like throwing you a bone kind of way. Like, I like you. I still have to ask you these questions.
I'm not an Assad apologist.
Yeah.
At all. But I can think of a country that has leaders that are squared times worse than Assad, and we are BFFs with them.
Right.
Don't give me that shit that he's so horrible. I mean, there are stories that are not propaganda, that are actual documented stories of the CIA supporting one rebel group and the FBI supporting another rebel group, and those two rebel groups fighting each other with our weapons. Like, that's crazy money wasting that's going on, and that's just a tiny thing. I mean, there's just so much.
I think the best 3 arguments for is Tulsi a Assad apologist conversation. I think the best 3 arguments are: 1, she was on the Foreign Affairs Committee. 2, she said, when asked, is there any dictator that you wouldn't meet with? She absolutely said no. She would meet with absolutely anyone. That would include Bashar Assad. 3, if I can remember what it was, is, God damn it, I always forget my 3rd one by the time I get to it. Go back and watch.
3 is so far away from 1. It's not your fault.
Right. No, it's It's 3 so far. It isn't my fault. I didn't make this fucking counting system. She said every time she's asked, why are you defending him? I'm not defending him.
Right.
And if you go back and listen to every conversation she's ever had, she's not defending Assad. She never has. She's always defending skepticism, is actually what she's defending. And again, she was on the Foreign Affairs Committee.
Right.
So it's really hard to nail her for being an Assad apologist when she's really not apologizing for anyone. She's just saying, I was lied into a war about Saddam Hussein.
Yep. And those same people are saying blah, blah, blah about these plethora of countries now. And I'm just saying these same people are saying shit now, and I think that we should be skeptical. I love that about her. You know, she has religion and all that stuff too. Like, I don't think that. So when I think of the Marianne, my reason for being like, is that magical thinking part of her. But I can't look at one person on this list that doesn't have that. Maybe not to different degrees. I mean, some more than others. But even Bernie says, you know, your God-given rights and you're all created equally by your God. And I think it's just part of the conversation. I say, oh my God, if I stub my toe. And I like to say, oh, they're gods. That's my favorite. Oh, they're gods.
So real quick, I think we need to say what Tulsi said, because we've just been talking about how awesome it is this whole time, and we haven't told anyone what it was. We know, no one's asked in the chat yet, but I assume there's got to be someone who watches this who doesn't know what she said. She put out a statement earlier this week or later last week, so before this debate, either way. She said that Kamala Harris's attack on Biden was, I don't remember her exact words. They were kind of either lame or maybe not even called for, is maybe what she said. But she said that because Biden is not a racist, and I agree. I don't think he's racist either. I think he's a dumbass who has like racial blinders, like most white Americans do. Like, they don't understand racist topics, and that's mostly because of culture. There's not a lot we can do about it. But anyways, her point. So she was asked about this on the debate stage, because that's like, everyone was going after Biden. Everyone was going after Biden. Like Christy said, it was the Biden Kamala show for a lot of it. But Tulsi is directly asked about her statement about calling out Biden, about Kamala calling out Biden. And she said, well, I want to get back to this conversation on foreign policy. And no, the broken criminal justice system. I'm sorry. Because Kamala Harris, so she completely changes the topic, because she's had her gun cocked and loaded this entire time, just under the table.
Yeah, I know.
She goes, because I know Kamala Harris says she's very proud of her record as a prosecutor, and she's going to be a prosecutor president. But I am concerned about her prosecuting record. And she just unloads the whole clip and substantively puts her down. It's quite incredible. If you haven't seen it, look it up. It's not hard to find, because she points out how under her role as prosecutor of California, they put away 1,500 people for smoking marijuana. And then she laughed about it when she was asked, has she ever smoked marijuana?
Yeah. Yeah, she laughed about it, but she didn't laugh like about the way
about the lockups.
Yeah, the way that she said it isn't exactly how it happened, but she did it very smart, because I watched that particular radio show when she was asked if she smoked marijuana, and she said, yes, I have. And then she even says, and I even inhaled, and that's when everyone laughed.
Yeah.
You know?
On the breakfast.
Yeah, I get her point. You know, yes, you have, and you inhaled, yet you locked people up for it. And now she can say I was just following orders, but so did the Nazi soldiers. So
right.
It always goes to the Nazis.
Right. Does not matter. Because she was the state prosecutor of California,
right? Yeah.
Like I don't know what the hierarchy was, but that sounds like a pretty high role, and she's not going to be answering to a whole hell of a lot of people. She had a lot of power then. And not only did she do that,
and with great power comes great responsibility.
But, Uncle Ben. But, that wasn't the only thing that she pointed out. The other thing she pointed out was that Kamala also withheld evidence from someone who was innocent, who was on death row. And from what I know, I'm not sure if he's been proven innocent, but he has been in jail since 2004. And he asked for a DNA test, like for the evidence. And she denied it. She wouldn't let him have it. And now the court has finally said, no, we need to let him have this DNA test to maybe clear his name, because, well, I think that's what she's talking about, the withholding evidence. Because if you're keeping someone from clearing their name and they're on death row and they've been locked up for 15 years, if you're wrong, bitch, get out the race. Like, that should just be the end of her entire political career.
Yes, and she noticed she did not have an answer for that.
She didn't.
She changed the subject, which she's a prosecutor. She's brilliant at arguing. I would never, ever want to have an argument with her. I would walk away feeling guilty about something I never did. She's really good. And, unfortunately, they've set the bar so effing low. Trump is the bar. Mr. Bean would be a better president than Donald Trump. So if it came to, Harris or Trump, I'm sure there's a lot of people that will have to do the exact same thing as last time, is like hold our nose and vote. I don't want that, people. Come on, we've got to fight this time. I do not want that. I do have to say there were a couple moments from Bill de Blasio. I love when he says that, I don't even remember, so I'm going to paraphrase, that I don't know why nobody up here is brave enough to say, or has the balls enough to say that Medicare for all, it isn't to say we should have it, or we're going to have that if we do this, and we don't want to hurt, we don't want to lose jobs, and we don't want to, every other nation has it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the best thing. Yes, it's going to cost money. Healthcare costs money. But if we don't do anything, it will cost like 3 or 4 times as much as the proposed amount. They're only talking points at this point. I went back and listened to a lot of when Reagan was a senator, of him opposing Medicare for elderly. And it was the exact same words as we're hearing right now. All of it. But how it will ruin the country, and, socialized medicine. And it's the most popular thing that we have, as far as it is way more popular than private healthcare. So when he said that, it made me think, sorry guys, I've had a head cold for a couple of days. It's really hard for me to breathe. It's like,
well, you sound great.
I sound like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer right now. But my nose is red. I've seen it once or twice. My nose glows. Okay. I want to say that Tulsi was my number one. Not that Corey is my number two. He's not. But as far as the debate goes, he was number two. He made. I think that his girlfriend is rubbing off on him. I am very approving of this.
I just saw who that is the other day, and she's on a few shows.
Rosario Dawson.
Yeah. Yeah. Also pretty. Cool.
Yeah, just inside and out. She's been an activist. She's always been on the, as far, I'm sure there's probably somewhere where I'm not going to agree with her. But as far as not looking into her, knowing just what I know, being a fan of hers, I've always been like, yeah, girl, that's right. So I think that's awesome.
And I'd like to point out, just like make a note of it, that last time, at least I said that I really liked Booker more than I thought, from just the debates. Yep. I don't know a whole hell of a lot about him, but he's making me more and more comfortable. So is Bill de Blasio. Of like, if they get on like the vice ticket of one of the people I like, I wouldn't be devastated.
Right.
Like, I would much rather have a Bernie Tulsi ticket. I would love that. That's my number one.
Agree.
But if one of these leaning towards progressive people get on the ticket or get in the administration, that'd be great, right?
Right.
Like, get more people on our team, see that it actually works.
Yes.
We really build that progressive community.
And I do think that this group of people, minus a couple of the fake Democrats, the Republicans that are pretending, minus those, I think that almost all of them should have some sort of a voice in the next, the next generation of lawmakers, even Marianne, even her. I think that she could bring, I always say, don't lose your softness. If you're soft and you're sweet, don't let the world take that from you, because that's the best part.
Hard to get it back.
It's hard. Yeah. No, it's if it's gone, it's gone. And that child wonder at the world that we're here. It's weird, that we're on this, there's all this wonder, and to keep, and I think that she would help that I think that as a country, a lot of the adults are missing that, because it's so hard right now. It's so unjust. And in a world that's super unjust and hard, it's hard to be soft when it's so hard. So I think that, she would be good for that. My number 3 actually was Kirsten Gillibrand.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm delighted to hear that, because again, she was one I thought she was just god awful until I started watching the debates, because our progressive media doesn't really cover Gillibrand or Booker as much. Like, we really get like our good ones and then the really, really shitty ones.
Right. Yes.
Everyone kind of in the middle or leaning towards our views is not covered quite as much. So again, I was so pissed that I couldn't watch the whole thing, because I want to see who I agree more with and who I don't more with, and who's all in that gray area and which part of it.
Yep. It's so gross that citizens aren't able to watch a debate, but they're supposed to vote on these. It's gross. It's gross behavior. My number, 4 was Kamala Harris, only because of this debate. This is not my list in real life.
No, that's fair. No, that's good.
At all. Number 5 was Julian Castro. I love, he's got a lot of great points. I think that he's a real humanist. I really do. I feel that he would just, when he would hear a policy, I think that he would be one to say, does this hurt anybody? If it does, let's figure out how to not first. And I think Marianne would do that too. Yeah. And I'm not saying that we don't need people who are more hard. We do, but we need to have people that represent all of the people of this country, not just corporate.
Right. Can I guess who your next one is?
Andrew Yang.
I knew it.
Yeah, I was very proud of him. He had his chance to speak. Of course, it was very rehearsed, and I love that his rehearsed part, he mentioned how everybody was up there with their rehearsed parts. Whatever. Yeah. I mean, he's not a politician at all, and I do think that he's doing it for the right reasons as well. I just, he's not going to be our next president. I think that because he has really good ideas that he and the people, like I go back to that same, the reason why I think that it's good to, listen to each one of these people's ideas is because each one of these candidates represent thousands and thousands and thousands of our fellow Americans, or they wouldn't have been nominated. So I think that it's important, to listen, to take it in. I think that he's ahead of his time, and that's unfortunate because he's correct. Our founding fathers had stuff like this that they were contemplating, and how in the future everyone should get, some sort of a dividend, and we're still not there yet.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Hopefully we'll get there. Did you want to name off your last 3 or 4?
Bill de Blasio is number 7. And then the only people that are left are Michael Bennet, Jay Inslee, and Joe Biden, and they don't get a number.
Yeah, okay.
Hagenlooper was in night 1.
What I heard, though, was Biden did a good job, better than people thought he'd do.
He's just embarrassing. I don't think so.
I heard the end was pretty, what the fuck was that? There's a 30330.com/Obama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very reality TV debate. The whole thing, reality TV debate. And it's unfortunate. I'm going to be following up with a few people that are talking about making sure that the American debates are not held at a corporate media site.
Okay.
It's just an idea right now. And there's a lot of different content creators who are talking about making sure that this PBS, come on, public broadcasting, it's available to everyone, whether they have cable or don't. They can just turn on the regular TV and get that one channel that they're going to get.
They YouTube fucking everything.
And PBS is on YouTube. And PBS, I mean, anybody could have it. It's public broadcasting. We pay for it with our taxes. That's where it should be. And it should not have all of these advertisements. And it should not, no, no profits,
right.
Just ideas. So.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, PBS would be the best mainstream source. That'd be great. Cool. Do you have anything else to add?
Nope, that was it. Debate night, second debate, night 1 and 2. I guess it's just one more in September, right?
I believe so. Is that the last one?
Yes. I mean, there will be more, but it won't be like this. It will be Donald Trump against.
Right. If we find out that it will be streaming online, which would be awesome, I would really like to try to have a watch party.
Yes.
I think that'd be really, really fun. So I hope everyone would be interested in that.
I know. I could just see them in the.
Yeah. I could see it before I was done with my sentence. Yeah, she's excited.
I'm excited.
We get to that. Christy, not sure, left you a message in the chat. So, not the live chat, the other chat, the Zoom chat.
Oh.
So if you want to check that out, we're going to move on to community news. So we wanted to mention again real quick, Doc Fearsome.
Yes.
Still needs some help. He had, did his car just stop working? I don't think he wrecked it, but he is having issues with his vehicle. So if we can continue to try to help him out, that would be amazing. We'll have the link down below. I don't have the link on me currently. I apologize, but we are going to be doing that. There's a 13-hour marathon on Sunday Do you know what that's for, Christy?
I'm sorry, I was trying to find nachos. I wasn't listening to a word you said.
No, that's all good. There's a 13-hour marathon on a Sunday, and they're kicking it off with the Lavender Lady at 11.
Yes. At 11 a.m. And
Is that for Doc?
Yes, it's going to be for Doc Fearsome.
Cool.
Fearsome.
The fearsome Doc.
Doc Fearsome. And he's a huge Spidey fan, so, I mean, that just makes me love him even more.
If I get 5 minutes on Sunday, which is going to be hard for me to get, I might come as Spider-Man.
That would be awesome.
I'm watching right now. I shouldn't have said that.
That's awesome. That smile. Hi, Lindsay.
Time for me to wrap up. Also, we are done. So we have guests here tonight, so I do need to get going here in a minute. Sorry, I want to make sure I'm checking my notes. Now, we got it. Okay. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. It's really nice to have at least 10 to 20 people every Friday night watching and joining in on this. So we really appreciate it. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, share this out on Twitter, on Facebook, on everywhere. Because the show's awesome and you need to share it so other people see how awesome it is.
Yes.
And the gray update.
Look at all that.
It's
like I'm gonna little stripe right here of white, and it is growing in dark right here.
Yeah.
It is white everywhere else.
Yeah.
Silvery white.
It's
Except for the front, it's not. I'm gonna have this like rogue stripe.
But like reverse.
Yeah, but reverse. I'll have a dark stripe in my silver.
Yeah. It's gonna be pretty dope.
Yeah. In 2 years from now.
It's gonna take a little while, but
it is. Every single week, every Friday is when I document with pictures. So I don't know. I got asked to be featured on a channel called Cotton Haired Ladies. It's just all women who have decided to go natural with their silver hair.
Yeah.
So I said yes, I'm on that. It's just a picture of me being like, look at me here.
That's awesome. Well,
yeah,
I'm glad you
pretty awesome.
Because we want to see it.
Yes. Oh, and also, good news from it. It's way even more. It's not even proper English. It's way even more. Even more deep than hair. It's hard to describe. And then I see things like a post from a mom with a teenage girl who the teenage girl is telling her friends, the mom can hear. My mom went gray when she was like 21, 22, but she started dyeing it. My brother went gray at like 22. He's like 26 now. So she's like 15, 16. She said, so by the time I'm that age, I'll have silver hair and I'm never going to dye it. So I won't have to go through what my mom's going through. I'm just going to have silver hair. I've never thought I would hear someone like that's just not even in the vocabulary of women anywhere. It's always to deny and age defy. And I just thought that makes me really want to keep going. I think that's awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
I forgot to ask you about it, but I am always looking forward to that update.
I know, and if I have it like this, I can kind of get away with it.
Yeah.
I mean, not if you see here.
Yeah.
With the camera. Right.
Yeah. It looks nice either way, though. You don't have to. Also, RB in the live chat says, that's a sexy stripe.
That's
with that.
My sexy stripe.
All right. That said, we're going to get going. Hope we see you all here next Friday. Same bat time, same bat channel. And I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Say humanist for God.
That's right.